Do you want to quit porn once and for all? Do you want to get rid of the most insidious vice known to modern men? Then you've come to the right place, because in this video I will cover the 5 negative side effects of watching porn, and I will also give you some actionable steps you can take today to get rid of the porn addiction. In some cases, when you are completely addicted, it completely kills your motivation. And I will explain to you why that is. What do you think is the most important motivation for human behavior? Well, in most cases, it's survival and reproduction. Actually, for everybody, it's survival and reproduction. And when you watch porn, you're actually tricking your brain into believing that it has achieved its most important goal, aka reproduction. But in reality, you are actually just watching some pixels on a screen, and you're busting a nut. You're busting a nut to those pixels on the screen. So this makes you completely complacent. You believe you have achieved your most important goal, and you know this after you have jacked off. You're just kind of lying around. You're not feeling like doing much. You are just getting very complacent. You're not motivated to take any action on your goals. You don't want to do anything hard. You just want to eat, you want to recuperate, you want to sleep. So watching porn completely tanks your motivation, because you are tricking your brain into believing you have achieved your most important goal, which is reproduction. You're actually tricking your brain by watching beautiful women on a screen, and you're actually thinking that you're having sex with them, that you're having reproductive success with these women. But this couldn't be further from the truth. You're actually just tricking your brain, and this is not happening. In reality, you're just watching a screen and you're busting a nut. The next negative side effect of porn is that it can literally cause you erectile dysfunction. Yeah, you heard that right. Porn can cause your penis to malfunction. Because porn is very stimulating to the mind. This is very stimulating content that you are consuming, and so you're training your brain to only get aroused when you're watching the content. And so regular pictures of beautiful women, or just a regular girl on the street, your girlfriend, your wife, they just won't cut it anymore. They are not stimulating enough for your brain, and so your penis can get to this point that it doesn't want to get hard anymore, because all you want and all you crave is this stimulating porn content. And so I don't have to tell you how embarrassing, how very shitty this would feel if you have an erectile dysfunction in front of a girl that you like, that you want to have sex with, that you're dating for a few months, and you can't even get hard anymore. Think about that. That's really fucked up. So that's the second negative side effect of watching porn. It is erectile dysfunction. Thirdly, you need more and more depraved and fetished content to get you the same high that you are used to before. Porn has there is this effect when you're watching porn that you will need more and more depraved content, and this is because you want the same high that you are used to, but the vanilla content that you are used to watching doesn't cut it anymore. It doesn't do the deal for you. And so what happens is you go to more and more darker sides of the porn websites. You go to content that is really nasty. Maybe you get into older women, you get into feet content, you get into orgies, you get into trio content, all these kind of things. And so this can become a very slippery slope where you get further and further down the rabbit hole, and your sexual nature becomes more and more fetishized. So this is another very dangerous effect that porn can have on you. So please stay away from it. Negative side effect number 4 is that porn causes you to get into a shame cycle. Now I'll explain to you what a shame cycle is. A shame cycle is basically when you watch porn, you don't feel good about yourself. After the fact, you notice, you've experienced this yourself, you actually feel quite shameful. You feel quite bad about yourself. And so to cope with this shame, we often go back to the very same thing that caused the shame, because we think this temporary high will make us feel better and so will get us out of this shameful feeling. But this is a trap, because it is only true in the short term. You will only feel a temporary dopamine release that will make you feel slightly better in the short term, but in the long run you will just cause more and more shame on yourself because you've watched porn, and you will feel shitty and shameful about yourself once again. So the shame cycle is very dangerous for you to get into, and it can quickly spiral into watching more and more porn and causing your shame to build and build and build. And so your confidence will tank, your self-image will be very low at this point. So the shame cycle is another very negative side effect of watching porn. And you kind of wrongfully assume that doing the act again will cause you to have less shame, but this is actually the opposite. It will only cause you to have more shame. So be wary of this effect. The fifth and final side effect I want to cover in this video is that porn completely screws up your perception of women. It not only causes you to have unrealistic expectations when it comes to women, but it also causes you to pedestalize them. When it comes to unrealistic expectations, this means that you have become so accustomed to watching the very big asses and the very big boobs that you see on the porn websites, and so you actually kind of start expecting this same kind of cleavage and the same kind of ass from regular women in your life. But this is not possible. Normal women who don't go through these surgeries, they cannot have these types of they cannot look this way, so this is very unrealistic for you to expect. And the second thing that happens when you watch porn is that you start pedestalizing women. You start putting them on a pedestal, and you start perceiving them as higher value than yourself, and you kind of put yourself down here. You're kind of putting yourself on a lower as lower value than them, and you start looking up to them, looking to them as queens, and kind of you get into the trap of simping for these women. And women, I can tell you, trust me, they hate this kind of behavior. They actually want you to see them as an equal, and when you watch too much porn, you're actually pedestalizing women and putting sex also, not only women, but you're also putting sex on the pedestal. And this causes you to kind of screw up your perception of women and dating, and trust me, it's not good. Okay, hopefully these side effects gave you a reason to quit porn, and if not, I hope that they have at least planted a seed somewhere in your mind that to believe that porn isn't good for you. Now, in the next part of the video, I will go over some techniques, some hints, some tips that I have used to quit porn over 4 years ago, and that I still use to this day to stay clean, and I'm sure they will also help you to stay clean as well. Technique number 1 I want to share with you is to replace watching porn with another habit. And I don't want you to think of bad habits, of other bad habits like watching Netflix or eating junk food. I want you to think about good habits like going to the gym, like practicing a sport, like reading a book. These other normal activities also release dopamine into your brain, and they kind of retrain your brain to enjoy these other activities instead of watching porn. Now, in the beginning, it can be very difficult to get started on these habits. Why? Because you're so used to getting this extremely high dopamine spike that porn releases into your brain, and so this lower dopamine spike you get from reading the books or going to the gym or practicing a sport, they just don't feel as good as the high dopamine spike that you get from porn. But trust me, you just have to keep at it, and over time, over a span of a few weeks, you will start noticing that you're enjoying the activities that you chose to implement into your life instead of porn more and more and more. They will release enough dopamine for you to be satisfied with the activity, and this will lower the likelihood of you going back to porn. Now, so please, if you choose a new habit, don't choose a bad habit, but choose a good habit that can benefit your life. something that will make you feel proud of yourself. So because then you will be less likely to go back to that shameful feeling of watching porn. So that's the first technique, is to replace porn with another habit, preferably a good one. Technique number 2 that I use to this current day, and it is one of the most beneficial ones, one of the ones that is actually helping me stay clean from porn the best, is to actually change your identity around porn. You have to become this guy that does not watch porn. You have to ingrain it into your identity that you are a guy that does not watch porn and that does not masturbate. Now, in the beginning this is kind of hard, but trust me, when you keep repeating the same phrase and the same thought to yourself that you are a man who doesn't watch porn, over time it will become so ingrained into your identity structure that you will basically never watch porn again. It's kind of the same way when you're trying to go to the gym consistently for the first time. You have to also change your identity and become this guy that goes to the gym every day, so you feel motivated to go to the gym, and it becomes easier basically to go to the gym when it is ingrained into your identity. And it's the same way when you want to quit porn. You just have to repeat it multiple times to yourself that you are a guy who does not watch porn, and over time you actually become this guy that never watches porn again, and that actually is kind of disgusted by the thought of watching porn again. So that's, at least for me, how far it gotten me. So changing your identity is a cheat code to quitting porn. Technique number 3 that I use to this day to stay clean from porn, and that you can use to quit porn today, is to remove or limit your social media use and in general your phone use. For most guys, there is a clear trigger that causes them to go watch porn. This could be a picture on Instagram of a girl posing with a naked butt on the beach. This could be a naked girl in a YouTube video thumbnail. This could be a Reddit page that is full of soft porn content. You name it. There's lots of examples nowadays of content online that shows you explicit content. And so these triggers can cause you to go watch porn. And so what I want you to do, or this tip, is to remove social media from your phone, so you don't have the trigger in your vicinity, in your environment anymore, and so you are way less likely to go watch porn. If you don't want to do this, I completely get it. There are some people that need their social media for their businesses, for example, or that have personal brands, and they post regularly on social media, or they use the messages in Instagram to connect with their family. There's lots of examples why you couldn't or why you wouldn't remove social media from your phone. In that case, I want to recommend you, or I suggest to you, that you just remove the profiles and the pages from your Instagram feed or your YouTube feed that show you these explicit content. So you don't have to remove the whole app, you just have to remove the pages and the profiles that show you this content. But preferably you just remove the whole app, and then you not only quit porn, but you also have lower time spent on your devices, and this is in general a very good thing for your productivity. So if you can just remove the whole app from your phone, and that way you will be more productive and you will be less triggered to go and watch explicit content. So that's technique number 3. Technique number 4 that I use to stay clean from porn is to use deep breathing and meditation. When you use deep breathing and meditation, you can actually get past an urge that you are feeling in the moment. So when you quit porn, there will be urges. You will feel a sexual tension inside of your body, an urge basically that will trigger you to go watch porn again. But because you have conditioned yourself to go watch porn every time you feel an urge, in the past you have kind of linked this behavior in your brain. You feel an urge, you go watch porn, you jack off. That's kind of the behavioral cycle that you have conditioned inside of your mind, but this doesn't have to be this way. You can actually just feel an urge, and after some time, over the span of a few minutes, or maybe heck, sometimes even an hour, it can take up to an hour, but this urge will always go away. At the end of the day, an urge is just a feeling, and every feeling just comes and goes. So when you feel the urge, take time to just feel it, sit with it, don't resist it. So kind of just feel it exactly as it is, don't resist it, but also choose to not act upon the urge. And that way, the urge has the chance to just do its thing, and it will pass over time. So focus on your breath, focus on your body, focus on meditating, on deep breathing when you feel an urge, and this will also help you to quit porn once and for all. The final technique or hint I want to leave you with in this video is to not beat yourself up when you do screw up. It is very important that when you do watch porn and when you do masturbate to it, that you are kind to yourself, that you don't beat yourself up about it. Why is this important? Well, it's important because if you beat yourself up and you're too hard on yourself, you're actually causing more shame. And when you're causing more shame, you're more likely to go watch porn again to try to get rid of that shame. So it kind of plays into the shame cycle that I talked about earlier. So be kind to yourself, take the time to forgive yourself, and then just get on with it. You get back up, you made a mistake, but it's okay. You just get back up and you stop watching porn. And you haven't lost all your progress. This is very important to understand. You haven't lost all of your progress. You just fell down the mountain a little bit. If this is a mountain and you're climbing up right here and you slip up, you're not falling all the way back to the mountain. You're actually just falling back a little bit, and then you get up back here and you start climbing again. So don't worry, you're not losing all your progress when you're screwing up. You're just slipping a little bit, and then you pick yourself back up and you go at it again. So be kind, be not too hard on yourself, forgive yourself when you do screw up, and this way you will not fall into another shame cycle, and this will also help you to quit porn once and for all. So that was it, guys. I hope you found some value in this video. I hope the video was useful for you, and I hope that I have planted the seed in your mind to quit this hideous addiction. And if not, then I hope I kind of changed some of the ideas in your mind, so that maybe later down the line you will make the decision to quit. If you liked the video, please leave a like, leave a comment. And if you want to see more useful videos in the future, then please subscribe to the channel and I will hit you up with more content. Stay strong.